Hello, Sarah. How are you
Hi,
today? Are you ready for this?
I am.
All right. Well, for those of you that may not know me, my name is Doug. I am the FyreSavvy client concierge and mindset coach, and I have the privilege to interview Sarah Kahn today. Sarah, would you do me a favor and would you introduce yourself and share with all the people who you are and what you do?
Absolutely. My name is Sarah Kahn. I am the Chief Ease Officer to highly successful women business owners who are ready to fully embody a values driven business that allows them to do less and be more profitable.
I love that. Do less and be more profitable. Who
Yes.
does not want some of that, right?
I mean, it's the dream, right?
Exactly, exactly. We were talking a little bit earlier today, Sarah, and you just signed up for our upcoming FyreSavvy Sales Academy, which is going to start May 16th, and we'll talk a little bit more about that.
Mhm.
But first of all, I want to learn a little bit more about you and what you do. So can you give us maybe an example of a client that you've worked with and kind of what that looked like and what some of those results were and how that all played out?
Absolutely. Yeah. My favorite clients, the ones that, I tend to sort of draw to me are women who've left the 9 to 5, they've left the corporate space and they've started businesses and they've been really successful in their businesses. But they tend to be the ones that do a lot. They do it all, whether they have teams or not. And pardon me, they're kind of stuck in that space of like
Mm,
over ambition. Like their ambition's a good thing, but it's also the
right.
thing that keeps them constantly busy.
Yep.
And they're used to equating their own worth with their level of productivity. And
Right.
taking their foot off the gas feels really scary.
Yeah, yeah. And my guess is too is that they've had to do everything at a certain point to get everything up and running. And now it's just like, how do I get my hands off the keyboard and how do I restructure things a little bit so that I don't have to be responsible for everything? Is that kind of some of what you're talking about?
Oh, absolutely. That is exactly it. A lot of these women that, one of my favorite clients, let me talk about her. So we worked
Yeah.
together late last year, and she was exactly that, right? She set her business up from scratch. She did have contractors come in and she had a team, and that was fine, but really struggling to not be in the business all the time
Mm,
and feeling like, everybody's success depended on her.
mm.
And, when we started working together, she was like, I feel burnt out, but there's also like more that I want to do. And I just can't seem to reconcile the two. And so we kind of stepped back and we looked at, well, who do you want to be? What do you want to actually do?
Yeah,
Are you doing things that are bringing you joy? Like it's a very simple question, but a
yeah.
very powerful one. And long story short, we kind of came to this understanding that who she wanted to be and how she wanted to show up was still very much being influenced by everything that she had done in her career.
Ah,
And so kind of divorcing herself from that identity that she had worn for so long
yeah.
and stepping into like, what does professional mean? Can I swear on my lives? Can I wear sassy t-shirts? Can the kids be in the room? Like all of these things that we are not allowed to do,
Yeah,
want to
yeah.
be taken seriously. She wanted to do that. And we got her to a point where she was comfortable doing that, but her business didn't suffer. She actually became more profitable, but she was working less hours. We got her down from she was working 65 hours a week. We got her down to 25 hours a week.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. What you're talking about is so important because, Donna has said before, like she talks about, like, our whole thing is about helping people achieve financial freedom from
Yeah.
corporate colonization, right?
Oh, yes.
That's why a lot of folks, they just get burnt out with the 9 to 5 because they want that freedom.
Mhm.
But what I hear you saying is, and so many people fall into this trap, is that then they leave that 9 to 5 or they transition, they build their business and everything. But then what happens is they end up colonizing themselves over time with some of these norms and structures that they brought with them from the 9 to 5. And they forget that they can set it up and be who they fully authentically really want to be, and they can make the rules. So
Absolutely.
am I warm here?
Oh, like burning hot.
Okay.
That's exactly it. We don't I find that we in general don't really have a different context for how business can be done,
Mm,
right? And I am a really good example of that. I left the corporate space and I came into consulting and I started my business and I'd created another job for myself.
Right.
I had literally taken what I left and just kind of transplanted it into my business, and I was miserable for years.
Wow. Yeah.
I was like, "Wait a second. I'm actually allowed to do this how I wanna do this." And
Yes.
a lot of people were like, "Don't do that," but I did it, and I think I was telling you before, like, my last client that signed with me last week, she signed with me, she said the thing that solidified the deal was the fact that I wear sassy T-shirts in my branding photos. Right, the fact that I show up exactly how I want, and I'm the same person on social media as I am behind the screen, so,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep. You know, and it's funny because Chanel Evans and Donna St. Louis, our two co-founders for
Yes.
FyreSavvy, they talk about that all the time. We want people to be more of who they fully are. So we're always encouraging that. And one big thing that Chanel always reminds people is that if you're trying to show up one way on social media and then somebody meets you or sees you, and then all of a sudden that's not the same person and there's this
Mhm.
total disconnect, it
Yeah.
throws people off.
It's
It
jarring.
really throws people off. It actually repels people, and it doesn't develop the trust. You know, we always talk about know, like, and trust. And she
Yeah.
said that throws a major curveball, and then people are like, wait, hold up, something's not right here.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and it's scary to be yourself, but it's 100% necessary.
yeah, absolutely. Now, okay, I'm also the mindset coach for FyreSavvy. So you've intrigued me. I've got to ask you this next best question. You were talking about like you started your business, you came
Mhm.
from the 9 to 5 thing, and then all of a sudden you realize, wait, I can do this totally different. My question for you is,
Yeah.
what was that aha moment for you when you sort of had that mindset shift that allowed you to, and it probably involved a risk. You had to have the courage to take a risk. Do you remember that moment when you're like, screw this, I'm going to
I
do this
do.
the way I want to do it? Was there
I
like one of
do.
those defining moments for you?
I blame my children.
Okay.
So it was height of COVID. We were at home, and I was still kind of, I was sort of part time in my business, and I was still working my corporate job. And I remember getting poo pooed on at my work, like by my workplace, because the kids were running around in the back. But we're all at home. Where were I supposed to put them? And then I was actually on a sales call later that night, and my husband, bless his soul, he took the little one. She was two or three at the time. He took her downstairs because I had to do this sales call, and she was not having it because she had not
Mm.
seen Mama all day. And
Oh,
she was screaming blue murder. And he was like, I tried. And I'm like, it's fine. I'm on this call. And, I was like, I'm so sorry. Like, I'm happy to reschedule. And I was being very apologetic and very like, I'm
mhm.
so sorry. I'm so sorry. Having spent 20 years apologizing for, my kids. And now I'm having to. So and to her credit, she looked at me and she was like, Sarah, I have 7 kids of my own. She's like, if you need to go and get a juice box for her or give her a hug or have her on your knee while we have this call, that's totally fine. But if you want to reschedule for tomorrow, let's do that too. And it was that moment where I was like, oh
Yeah,
my gosh, I
yeah,
can actually do this with my kids. And the reason I'm doing this to begin with, my kids,
yeah.
my
Your
freedom,
family.
the
Yeah,
ability to live my life the way I want.
right,
What am
right.
I doing? It was such a disconnect. And so picked her up, popped her on my lap. She was happy as a clam, did the sales call, signed her. We worked together for 7 months. It was fantastic. And that was the changing point for me
Yeah.
of I get to do this how I want. And if you don't like it, I'll refer you to someone else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love it because what you just shared is the perfect example. And I'm so happy for you. But this is what you're doing for other women business owners too. That's what I
Yeah.
love. You've been there. You are like that next level. So you
Yes.
are going to be able to show people and model for people, look, here's how you do it, right?
Yeah.
Step by step. We're going to go through it. We're going to get you where you want to go. And this is how you make that change. So I love it. That was a great, great example and great
Thank you.
story. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
Yeah. So now my next question for you is so you've obviously been extremely successful, and we've kept in touch here the last few months and everything. And you
Yes.
expressed like, geez, I see Don and Chanel. I know I want to work with them, Doug. I know the timing's going to be right at some point. And then finally here a few days ago, we just touched base and it's like, yes, you decided now's the time. So my question for you is
Mhm.
what's going on in your world that you decided now is the time to work with Donna, Chanel, myself, our amazing FyreSavvy family, and sign up for this upcoming sales academy? Why now? What's going on in your world? Why now, Sarah?
So I can give you the humble, meek, kind of answer. I can give you the honest answer.
Okay, I don't know about anybody else that's listening, but I want the honesty,
The
and I know
honest
you're gonna be
answer.
honest anyhow. So, but yeah, I put it out there, raw and real. Let's keep it raw and real here.
Okay. I have been very blessed in my business to be, I've been successful. The vast majority of people I've worked with, have come to me or they've been referred to me, and that's wonderful. I know that my mission is bigger than I can fulfill on my own. I know that what I'm meant to do and the people that I'm meant to help, the women that I'm meant to help, need to be able to find me and they need to
Mm,
be able to get in touch with me. And
yep.
so I know that my sales process, how I approach my conversations, that needs to be really solid. And
Hmm.
that's one place that I've not been spending a lot of time and effort. And I just know that if I'm meant to do bigger things, then I need to stand on a bigger hill. And I know that Donna and Chanel are like the perfect people to help me with that because I've been following them for a while. I love the way they show up. I really respect their just the values that they bring to how they do their work.
Hmm.
And I think it has taken me this long to find someone to help me in the sales space because I don't like the way a lot of people do sales.
Right.
That's actually the thing that's repelled me from a lot of sales programs and courses and coaches. And like we had this conversation yesterday where I was like, look, my values are important to me and I need to know if they're going to be honored in this. And you were like, absolutely. And that was the clincher. So I'm
Yeah.
ready to do big things. And I know that the best people to help me do that are you and Donna and Chanel.
Yeah, well, I love that, Sarah. And one of the things that I'm so excited about for you is that you are so incredibly like authentic, transparent, and vulnerable. And I love our conversation because it was so incredibly real. I want to back up and ask you a little bit of a next best question in terms of what you shared. Like you said, some of the other programs that you had looked at and checked into, maybe even been a part of, and without naming names or anything, what were some of those things that you had maybe tried before or checked into and just didn't feel like this isn't me, this isn't authentic, it's not making me lean into it?
I think like some of them they either want you to what I call pitch slap. So just,
Mm,
pray and spray in the
pitch
DMs and
slap,
hope
I love
somebody
it.
wants, you know, um, that is like 100% no for me. But also a lot of the programs that I've looked into and inquired into, they're not interested in how you want to do things as much as they are interested in shoving their framework on you,
Mm,
whether you fit into it or not, whether your business fits into it or not. And I've been, like I said, following FyreSavvy for a while, and I've been to a couple of the master classes, and just that taster was like enough for me to go, I like what they're doing, I like what they have to say, and I like how they do it.
yeah.
It didn't feel sleazy or pitch slappy or like I had to change who I was in order to be successful in their program. And that was really, really like that was a fundamental piece that had to be there. Otherwise, I was not going to do it.
Yeah. I really appreciate that because, as we were having these conversations and everything, I was like, hey, I want to get all your questions answered because I don't even want you, to sign up or register until you feel confident that this is a good fit for you and everything. But one of the things that I think I shared with you is that on the contrary, Donna and Chanel are always encouraging people. No, we want you to be more of who you fully are. We want this to be authentic. So when you're talking about frameworks, what really resonates for me is the fact that we have proven frameworks.
Mhm.
But the thing that I love is that we help people make them their own. You can
Yeah.
customize it to fit you so that you can find that freedom within that framework. And I know that was really important to you when we talked.
Yeah. And I mean, from a purely business perspective, that is what a framework should do, right? The process works, but you've got to be able to make it work for how you want to run your business. And like I said, that was super important. So it worked out. It worked out.
Yeah, awesome. And I love what you shared too about like a sales process and everything. Because I think, and I'm sure you've seen this with some of your clients too, like when you get started out in
Mhm.
business, especially that first year or two, a lot of times your sales usually come from whom?
People you know.
Exactly. People in those referrals,
Yep.
right? Lots of warm leads.
Mhm.
So it's a lot different having conversations and closing sales with those folks who already know you or there's a direct connection versus like, okay, now all of a sudden I've kind of dried up. That circle has kind of dried up a little bit. Now I need to stretch myself. I need to go into a cold market. I need to show up bigger and find new target rich environments and everything.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, what happens now? Right. And I'm just wondering, have you seen that with some of your clients as well?
Oh yeah. Yeah. A lot of people who, you know, they leave, and it's really easy to sell earlier on, because you have these new networks and
Mm-hmm.
people trust you and you're joining groups and, you know, all of this networking happening. But if you don't start to kind of expand out of those networks into newer spaces, you're constantly selling to the same people. But the challenge of being in new spaces is nobody knows you, so it's not going to be an easy referral. And so
Right.
having that sales process is super easy. And I think it's not business owners doing anything wrong per se. It's a natural evolution of business. When you get to a certain point, you need to be in different spaces.
Right.
And in order to capitalize on those spaces in an authentic and ethical way, you need to have a process of,
Right.
you know, nurturing and bringing them in and turning them into warm leads and all of the stuff that works. And if you don't have that, you can't do it. So all
Yeah.
the networking in the world is not going to mean anything.
Yep. I absolutely love that. Now, for anybody who might be listening too, we do have the FyreSavvy Sales Academy coming up on May 16th. And if there's anybody that's like, well, is there any way I can learn a little bit more about this? Actually, if you look on the screen there and you go to salessuperstar.net, there's actually a complimentary PDF download of that framework. So you can check it out for yourself. And if you're serious and it's like Sarah, you're ready to make a move and you want to like have a serious conversation, there's even an opportunity to get on Donna and Chanel's calendar there. I would encourage you to download that, check it out, salessuperstar.net. Now, Sarah, we just got you and I met yesterday. I got you all plugged in and into the community and the resources and everything else. We haven't officially started the Sales Academy yet, but we got you plugged in right away.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just curious, you know, you checked out some other things. What makes, up to this point, what makes FyreSavvy different so far based on your personal experience?
I mean, would it be too much to say that I've already like seen the value of my investment? Like already? The resources are
I honestly wasn't
incredible.
ready for that, but that's cool.
The resources are incredible. You can see the process ahead of time, so you know what to expect. All of the resources that you shared with me yesterday, I've been slowly going through them, and they're just so incredible. Looking forward to, and I mean, to be honest with you, even just the onboarding that I experienced was incredible, right? Like a handhold walkthrough of everything to expect. Fantastic. And I'm looking forward to, and I like the fact that what we're going to do over the 6 weeks is outlined for you. Like we know what to expect. It's not hush hush secret. So you can prepare for it mentally and you can kind of be like, okay, I know what to expect. It's not going to be, it's not going to just blindside me. And I know how much time to set aside for it. And like, I feel confident going into it. I'm not feeling overwhelmed or afraid or nervous. And I'm excited. I want it to be May 16th already.
I know. I'm excited too. And I'm so glad that you feel safe, you feel comfortable, you feel like you know what to expect and everything, because I can't wait for this to start, because you haven't even worked directly with Donna and Chanel yet.
Nope.
And it is going to blow your mind because they are so good at what they do and everything.
Yeah.
And I think we might have talked about this, but then in that 6 weeks, week 3, 4, and 5 is an actual 21-day sales challenge. And we break people up into teams. We have contests, prizes. I mean, Sarah, this is going to be so, so good. And you're going to love it because our FyreSavvy family and some of the other folks who are going to join us for this academy are amazing, amazing. So I can't wait for you to get started with that.
Well, neither can I. Come on, hurry up. Let's do it.
Awesome. Well, this has been great. Sarah, I want to ask you one last question here about you, and how can people who are listening in and they're like, oh, I need to have a conversation with Sarah because she's talking about me and I need to learn more about what she does and get to know you a little bit better. What's the best way for people to reach out and connect with you?
If you don't already follow me on social, the best place is right here, getcorporaterehab.com.
Look at you. You're like a pro. You already got the
Hit me up on the website. You're going to hear my story. You're going to be able to book a call with me. It's perfect. It's perfect. Trust me. So go there, book a call. Let's have a chat. Bring your favorite coffee. It's all good.
I love it. I love it. Hey, and Sarah, also like for anybody else who wants to join us for May 16th and they're kind of like, hey, I've been checking out FyreSavvy. I've heard of Donna and Chanel, you know, and everything. If there's anybody that's kind of sitting on the fence and they're wondering, oh, maybe this time, should I, shouldn't I? You know, what would you tell them based on your experience so far?
Do it. And I don't say that lightly. Like, I'm one of those people, when people ask me, should I join XYZ program? The first thing I always say is, I mean, do you really need it? Like, should we maybe sit down and have a conversation? Are you just, avoiding doing the work?
Right.
Just in the short interactions I've had with Donna, with Chanel, in like their short master classes, my experience in some of the Facebook spaces that they're in, and my experience working with you, it's a no-brainer. Like, if sales is something you want to get better at, I've been in the program now for what, 24 hours? And I've already got assets that I can use. I mean, come on. Come on.
I love it. But so Sarah, thank you so much. I appreciate all your kind words and stuff, but this is the part, and I know you're so humble and everything, you're probably going to blush when I say this, but the reason I'm so excited for you is because you are that person who is ready to go. You're open. You're like, yes, let's do the damn thing and stuff. I cannot tell you how excited we are to work with you. And the reason why you're having all of this, why it's resonating for you is because you're already putting in the work. You're already taking action, and you're that action taker who is going to get a major return on investment. And that's why I'm so thrilled for you and everything. So I'm so happy that this worked out. I'm glad that now is the right time for you. And hopefully there'll be some other folks on here that can join us so they're not missing out on the fun.
Come do it. We'll hang out. It'll be great.
It will be great. Sarah, thank you so much for taking this precious time out of your day. I know you got the kiddos upstairs. You probably got to get ready for dinner, because I think we've got dinner and stuff too. So thank you. Yeah, exactly. We're grilling out tonight too. So, but thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you, and I'll look forward to talking to you again real soon. Okay.
Thank you. It was my pleasure. Thanks for having me on.